Recap our game Saturday. MVPs from the game. Defensively, Dre Reagan was our point leader. I thought very consistent play throughout the course of the game. He's put a couple really good weeks on tape. So good to see him get some recognition for what he's been able to do, and that's been a steady presence for us on the defensive front through the season. On the offensive side, the MVP there, we gave it to the offensive line as a whole. Thought those guys have made really consistent strides throughout the course of the season, and each guy has played their part, and consistently aiding a rushing attack that's been very good here the last few weeks. And so really proud of their efforts. And then for great kickoff coverage and some real highlighted plays there, Ronald Delancey was our special teams MVP. Luke Pollock would be highlighted in that mention as well. I thought he had a very consistent, steady day as well, and some other guys had some good performances on offense and defense. But those are the guys that the staff chose. And then, recapping the game as a whole, I'm happy for our guys to handle the trip in a way that is business-like. As we go back on the road this week, we'll have to need that same type of focus and energy as we get prepared for Ball State. So, game we're looking forward to, another conference road game we understand the value here of winning on the road and certainly winning conference games on the road. And team that I think has played us very, very tough here the last few years, and we'll have to be at our best to get on and play well against them.
What do you think has been more impressive for the offensive line? Their inability, I guess, of giving up sacks and tackles for loss, or the run lanes that they've been able to?
Yeah, I think that obviously havoc plays impact the game in a highlight type manner, and fans see that, and everybody sees that. But I think if you're a pressure defense, you're going to get some of those, and we've played a couple pressure defenses here that have gotten a couple tackles for loss, but not in the bunches and bundles that they would expect. So to be able to you look at how do you neutralize those havoc plays, you do it by consistently doing your job. So. And when you do that, those run lanes that you mentioned, they do show up. So I think that their communication's been really good. We had a couple things Saturday. I think we miscommunicated a couple twists and some things like that we gotta get cleaned up. But I think for the most part, they've been all on the same page. And that old theory of like you're either all right or you're all wrong. We don't want to be disconnected. I think at times last year we had part of the line going one way and another going the other, and communication errors. Got a lot of guys hurt, new guys stepping in and not in familiar positions, and sometimes that can happen. So to not see that, to see those guys get that off the tape, and testament to their work and really their attention to detail, how they go about their business leading up into a game plan.
Those first two possessions of the second half, you had the long touchdown runs on the zone reads. Is there, on those plays, is there any sort of lean one way before the snap, or is it just pure DQ? Decides.
Well, those were both zero blitz situations from the defense, and they're kind of, for lack of a better way of putting it, selling out to get the stop, and you're selling out to get a yard. And in both cases, DQ pulls one of them out of there, and Penny squirts through there, and the ball, the guy that's the free player doesn't make the tackle, and there's nobody left. You know what I mean? Everybody's at the line of scrimmage. You're in big personnel, you're in bigger people, so there's more gaps to create, so that spreads the defense thin. There's not layers to it. So when he broke free, and in DQ's case, there wasn't anybody left to go catch him. So you're now running it to open grass and worried about the tackling angles are not in your vision point. So it's just run to score. So they're both different in its own sense, but also very similar in the sense of the situation that they occurred in.
And then just the way the line is blocking, the way you guys are running the ball, does it make you freer as a play caller? Does it give you a lot more options?
Yeah, obviously, I've said this multiple times. That sets the table for everything else. You then can then go to work on the extra defender, whatever formation you're in, and you can pick play action passes that would stress those players, and and then obviously, you're always going to bring in a drop back passing plan, but if you're going to sit and drop back pass 80 times a game, you're not going to win very many games. So, It's key to get ahead of the stakes in today's football. Defenses can really pin their ears back on third and long situations and really come after you and kind of make you one-dimensional. So I think running the football is like I said, it sets the table for everything else.
And then DQ, he has thrown some interceptions, but he's completed 66% of his passes so far, which is 7 percentage points higher, I think, than his previous high. How impressed have you been with his accuracy?
Well, year-to-year growth, right? second full year as a starter. Spot starts in 2021, but not a consistent full year. Very comfortable in his own skin coming off of a championship season last year. Go to work at the things that you're not doing a great job at, and really tell yourself the truth in the off season. That's a credit to him to sit down and do that and go through all that stuff. And obviously we got to continue to put him in situations where it's he can be successful at a high level. But I think some of the plays that you take from the game, there's 170 some plus yards rushing from the quarterback's perspective, but there's also there's a 3rd and 7 touchdown pass to Jerwan Newton on a post. There's another 3rd and 8 touchdown pass to Jerwan Newton on a corner route. There's another 3rd and 9 conversion to Larry Stevens on a corner route. There's a 3rd and 11 conversion to Anthony Torres over the middle on a curl route in the middle of the field. So, not only is he making plays with his legs, but, in crunch situations and critical down and distances where we have to have plays, he's making the right read and getting the ball to his hand on time to the guys that are running good routes.
Among the milestones that were set over Saturday was you becoming second all-time in program wins. Just kind of your thoughts on getting to that milestone and what that means to you.
Yeah, I think obviously, like everybody, you're a product of the people that are around you. You know what I mean? We've had great coaches here with me and alongside with me, and obviously great players that have been here with me. So, it's nice to have your name mentioned with those guys. Obviously, Coach Amstutz has meant a ton to this program, to this city, and he's at the foundation of how a lot of stuff has been built here. And I think you're at a luxury because you're at a program that, you really respect the tradition and the people that have come before you. And you try to just pull some of the things that they, were able to, to do to be successful, and you mix it with your own ideas and your own things. But it's like I said, it's a testament to the people around me, and there's really nothing to do with me. Obviously, it feels good to have your name mentioned with those guys, but like I said, it's business as usual. On to the next week, and let's get ready for Ball State.
I'll go back, coming to this random school in your 20s, now 15 years later. How crazy would that have been to you as a 29-year-old guy here 14 years later through all these ups and downs?
I just, like I said, I obviously thankful and grateful for the opportunity, and the people around me have been really, really good and consistent, and that's allowed us to have great consistency as well. And you always tie in and buy into what recruiting looks like, and recruiting good human beings and good people that we're willing to try to be the best player they possibly can be. So I think we've been able to do that, and we'll continue to do that. And obviously when you got good players and you got good coaches, it allows you to be successful and allows you to have the consistency and the stability that you want. But in a profession where there's everything but stability. If you'd have told me in 2009 that I'd be sitting here at this time, I don't know if anybody would have believed that. So happy and thankful that we've been able to have the success we've been able to have and the consistency we've been able to have. Now we just got to keep it rolling.
How much knowledge of Toledo football did you have before you got here?
Not much. Enough that understand that the great players and the great coaches. The college teammate of mine was Alex Grinch, who was Coach Pinkel's nephew. So, and a guy that I was really close with. So, I knew enough that, probably more than some 22 or 23-year-old guy that wasn't, around the program. But I always knew that, the tradition was there, and the drive to be successful was, and that things were aligned in the right way to have a sustainable program. So, it's not by accident that those coaches that, that have come before me, that they've had success as well.
I want to ask you just one bigger picture question about kind of the fog of war, fog of battle at the end of games. Like every week across college football, we see these crazy viral moments, whether it's not enough guys on the field or clock management things. When you're at the end of the game, can a game slow down for coaches over the years just as it does for players? And I guess how difficult is it for you and your staff and all your analysts to just not get caught watching the game, like in those big moments when the crowd's roaring? You're thinking about a million different complex things that you miss the easiest thing that obviously the fan will see. Like, how, I don't know. Can you empathize with these moments that seem so crazy, but it's like, okay, I can see how that happens?
I think it's you have to be the calm in the chaos. And, I hate to, I play golf as a hobby, but I always bring it back to that. Like you got all these people standing right next to you, and you got to hit one shot. And, those guys do that on TV every Sunday in tough moments. And there's not, other 10 other guys out there with you, and it's kind of just about your thought process and what your focus level is. And for me, it's try to stay into that thought process at all times. And it's in today's college football, you've got hundreds of examples. It's not over until it's over, until that clock hits zero. So I don't know. I think our team and I talked about this on Sunday. It's just you work really, really hard, and you get to those type of things, and you want to do the best job you can to make sure you're successful. And it's not because you want to be successful for you or avoid criticism. You want to be successful for the players because of the time, energy, and effort that they put into this thing, and you have to continually match their preparation, and your focus has to be better than theirs because you're the one leading them.
Kind of going off that question, in a down to the wire finish, I mean, is it very calm on the headset, or does it get hectic?
Well, I mean, it's calm on our end and on the offensive end because I'm the play caller. I don't have time to get emotionally attached to anything. The quarterback's counting on me to make sure that he's in a good position to play in 25 seconds or 40 seconds. So it has to be that way. I think defensively, it is a calming presence there, and I can go over to that side, and if we got to get a timeout or we got to get something figured out, or if we're miscommunicated, I can help that way. But yeah, I mean, I don't. We've been enough big moments here that this isn't. You don't have to freak out. We've prepared and worked and put our time, energy, and on task since back in January. So, there shouldn't be. Shouldn't be a situation that comes up where we're totally, off base and not aligned. And if we did, and if we got in that situation, you can't make excuses about it. You got to own it and fix it and move on to the next one. Mistakes happen in every profession. Unfortunately in this one we're in, it's highlighted by media, social media, and at the touch of a button, everybody that has a thumb can tell you what they feel about you, and that's the world we live in today. So either embrace that or you don't cash a check.
After looking at the film against UMass, that second half defensively, just what was the difference in you guys being able to really shut them down? And how does that what does it say about them? Obviously, they're not getting encouraged being down on the road.
Well, I think that, the first couple of drives, a couple of the plays that got out on us were, those are schematic things. I mean, we're in, third and long defense where we're playing a pass and a pass only, and they run the ball, which breaks a couple tendencies, and a couple of the runs get out on us. I mean, it happened. We don't make it's a one-man tackle thing, a situation where we got to get them on the ground, and if you don't, you don't. And that's the result of it. So, but I think also there's a game within the game, and, offensive coordinators get a chance to watch film all week long. They have a plan and how they think the game is going to start. That plan has been executed in practice multiple times. It's been thought through hundreds of times. It's either going to go really, really well for them early or it's not. And then from there's going to be an adjustment, and you have to adjust and you have to adapt to whatever the defense is doing, and vice versa. The defense has got to adapt to what the offense is doing. So you got to be able to make adjustments through the course of the game. You have to be able to communicate to your veteran players what's going on and the options and the ways to how to get it fixed. Your players have to have authentic communication with the coaches, and sometimes offensively, a young offensive player's got to get out of the mindset of telling a coach what's there just so he can get the football rather than what is actually going on. And I think we've had great communication on our sideline through in both sides of the football. And really, the kickoff return that happened Saturday there that got us out to the 30-yard line or whatever it was, that wasn't practiced all week. That was an adjustment made on the sideline due to how their kickoff unit showed up. And credit our kids and our players for telling the truth when they get to the sideline and working really hard with our coaches to get things fixed and adjusted. And we were able to have some success after the fact.
With DQ's performance, I mean, obviously you can throw the ball, you can run the ball. Obviously his running ability was highlighted on Saturday, but where have you seen kind of his decisiveness of whether or not to run or throw kind of grow? Yeah,
I mean, I think that great runners and great athletes, whether they're running back or they're quarterback leaving the backfield with the ball in their hand, not a lot of coaching you're going to do on that part of it. You have to understand the why. You have to put them in position of and give them the reasons why you're calling those particular quarterback runs, or you're constantly trying to show him where the run lanes would be in particular pass protections and things like that based off what the defense does. But the decision-making process, that's on him, and that's 4 to 6 seconds in a football play. That's fight or flight, and there's not much coaching going on there. But his ability to be a reactionary player out there is really, really good. Hitting the amount of speed and force that he creates when he takes off and runs is is hard to deal with. It puts pressure on the defense in a hurry, especially teams that play a lot of man coverage because there's not a lot of vision on the football. And when he gets in the perimeter there, sometimes you're locked on with your man running down the field, and all you hear is the crowd go, stand up and cheer, and you got to go find the ball, and there he goes. And most of the time, he's fast enough to get away from them guys. So, yeah, he's a real threat, and his preparation is to be credited for the plays that he's making out there. He's self-made in a lot of ways and doing a lot of great things, through the course of the week that's allowing him to do great things on Saturdays.